incredible. So in front of me you have the Gallo-Roman Theater of Fievre. So like that's the name of the hill, I guess. So everything in this region has this name, Fievre or whatever it's called, and it's quite impressive. So it kind of resembles a Colosseum in a way, I guess. This is where they would have had some type of spectacles on the front stage, and it's called the Gallo-Roman. I assume it's from the Roman time, since I know the Roman Empire had essentially reached France. So it's quite impressive, and I'm not sure. I might have to pass down through there or go back to the church, because there's also a funicular, so a cable car that goes down, and that would be much quicker for me to take than just going down by the stairs. But yeah, once more, it's incredible the view of the city that you have from here, and I know that if I lived here, I would come here almost every weekend, because it's really something else to be here and see the entire city in front of your eyes. So guys, I'm taking the way through the actual theater, which is nice. It's incredibly steep, so they of course had the theater in a steep manner in order to be able to have as many people as close as possible to the action, which was here, because of course if you had a shallower slope, the people at the very top would be very far back, whereas the steeper the seating was, in essence, the more people you could have closer to the stage. You also see here there's a museum up there, and it's cool. It has like some pods sticking out the wall, and I think that's where some exhibits are, but I also just wanted to note that. So there's also a museum here. If you guys come here, don't make the mistake I did, or it's not really a mistake, but like you can literally spend an entire day just here in this tiny part of the old city, and then you still have the entire rest of the city to see. So although I'm only here for one day, like I literally kind of rushed it, because what else was I supposed to do? If you have like 3 to 4 days, you can like do different parts. Like one day you can come here to the cathedral, see the theater, go to the museum. That's an entire day if you actually like spend your time to go through everything. And then there's the old city, which is separate, and then there's the actual city. There's that one park that I was at this morning. So this is a very big city, of course, the third biggest city, so you must not neglect that. And yeah, I just tried to kind of rush through and see everything I could in the time I had, and I'm more or less satisfied. Hi guys, so what I'm about to show you is extremely interesting, that I'm not even going to show my face. I'm just going to give you guys the full view. So you have a timeline of this theater. So first, in the year 100, you can see how pristine it would have been. That's what it looked like. Then it actually became covered over time, or somehow it became covered. Over time, the hill has begun a zone that was just rural and covered. But then in 1934, they started to undig it. So that's incredible. It's like a fossil that they dug up. And then you can see this is the inauguration in 1946. This is what the theater looked like in 1946. This was the museum. So there you have the museum with those pods. I can't see it from this place, so I'm not going to show you guys. That's the museum with those cool pods on the side. Some concerts that are happening, so you can see that they're really reusing it, what it was used for at the time. And then lastly, in 2021, I believe. So this is all 2021. They're still using it as the Romans did. So that's really cool to see that they're continuing legacy, and that's incredible that it became buried over time. I'm not sure how that would have occurred, because it's such a big thing, so I don't know how they would all neglect it, but that's what happened. One more time, guys, check out this view. And this has to be the best day possible to appreciate it. So, in fact, here we are in a cathedral right now. So it's called the St. John Baptist Cathedral, and it's kind of at the foot of the old city, so at the low part of the city, and it's extremely impressive. I actually prefer it to the other basilica just because it's so bright and white. It gives you a kind of a hopeful sensation, so I'll show you guys. Of course, I'm walking through. You have some beautiful stained glass there behind, and then the front is even more brilliant, so you can check that out. This one must have organs because it's a cathedral. Yes, it does. So you'll see the organs are just here, covered by this pillar, and they're equally here, so on both sides. Similar to some other cathedrals you see, and there's nothing in the back, which I actually quite enjoy, because then you can see the entire rear of the cathedral in a much clearer fashion. It's covered by a organ, and then here you also have some sort of it's a kind of like a astronomy clock, or a clock of astronomy. And then on this other side, I believe that's a model for the cathedral, but it's black, so it must be something else if it's black, so I just lied. It's probably not the cathedral. Yeah, but I actually have to get going because I have to get to my train. but I really wanted to stop here and it's on the way, so I had to give it a go. And check it out, so just exited the cathedral. You can see both from the same vantage point. So there you have the basilica at the hill where I just was, and then here, of course, the cathedral, which is unfortunately hard for you guys to see because of the angle. But yeah, so there you go. I think somebody just talked to me in a different language. And it's also quite a nice square in general, so I'm not sure what that kind of thing there is in the middle, but it represents something, I guarantee. And yeah, so now I'm just gonna cross the river like I did previously to get back to the other side. And there's one last place. It's the big square I was referring to in the prior parts of the vlog, which is the biggest open air square in Europe. So I have to go there. So guys, I'm back on the bridge crossing. I thought I would be crossing on that pedestrian bridge there, but in fact, it was the next bridge over that I would be taken on. And actually, I can see the square in front of me in the island. So yeah, one thing I want to just quickly note, you have there those columns that I talked about that look like an American Capitol building. That's actually the Lyon Court of Appeal. So I just checked Google Maps and that's what it told me. So there you have it. And also, with respect to the island I'm about to enter, so I've crossed two rivers, right? So basically between these two rivers, you have, it's called the Almost Island. And that's where you have a lot of the major kind of sites in Lyon. I'm gonna run to get to the other side of the crosswalk. But it's almost an island, so like it's kind of divided by two rivers, but also eventually it's connected to land. And yeah, this is where the big square that I'm talking about is located. So guys, they weren't lying when they talked about it being the biggest open air square in Europe. I might have mixed up the term, maybe I misunderstood what it was written in French, but it's one of the biggest squares in Europe. And I haven't even showed you guys, so I'm sorry about that. There you go. So you have it right here behind me. I'm staying in this kind of promenade here with the trees in the shade. I don't think I'm actually gonna go into the square itself. One, because it's all sun, and two, because I'm rushed. But the main centerpiece of the square is Louis XIV, the Sun King. And there he is right there on his horse. So for whatever reason, you have it being buried off. But basically, the significance of Louis the Sun King is he had ruled for a very long time. I think he was one of the longest ruling monarchs of France, if not the longest. And he just had unlimited HP, like he wouldn't die. And the reason why he's called the Sun King is because France actually was living a relatively prosperous time during his rule. And apparently he was one of the nicer kings. So I might have like misunderstood or misinterpreted some things about him, but that's kind of a general overview of who he was. And he's here on the square. Oh, that's why it's fenced off. There's actually been vandalism on the monument. So you have some stupid ACAB and different things written on there, which is unfortunate. But so there you have it. They're restoring it due to vandalism. But yeah, so it really is a big square. So it goes from here on this side all the way to those buildings way behind me. It has to be like maybe, I don't know, 800 meters per kilometer. And yeah, it's called, oh, I haven't even told you guys what it's called. I think it's called the Belcourt Square, but I'll confirm in the next. So guys, now we're crossing the Lyon River. So this is the main river in Lyon, and it's really windy. So I just wanted to tell you guys that if you do end up coming to Lyon ever, the one other thing to add to your trip is to visit the coast, because all along you have a bunch of incredible buildings. So here you have that one there. On this side, you have a bunch of interesting Seattle-inspired spire towers, and then a bunch of other things. I would like to show them to all of you guys, but I know the wind is terrible, so I'm gonna end it now. Hey guys, so with all that rush that I went through in the last 2 hours to see as much as I could, I'm at the train station, and the train leaves in approximately 8 minutes. So as long as I'm 2 minutes there before the train leaves, I literally am good. Of course, you don't want to be there at 2 minutes because who knows, maybe they leave 30 seconds early and you miss your train. But yes, I'm here at the station, and I'll show you guys just in a sec the actual station because I want to. And yeah, if not, here you are. That's the station. It's obviously under construction. All the stations that I've been to, or the gross majority, are all under construction. So you have these weird makeshift entrances that aren't the original one, which kind of sucks because usually these train stations have very beautiful and elaborate kind of facades, but I don't care. I just want to get back home. Alright guys, so we're back here in Paris, and I'm just picking up a burger from this place called Manger et Cassez-vous. They have really cheap burgers, and I learned about it from TikTok, a TikTok video from YouTube. So I'm gonna take it. It was €5 for a burger plus fries, which is cheaper than McDonald's, and I think it's much higher quality. So I'll keep you guys in the loop of how it goes. Alright guys, so first of all, the burger was very nice. It's once more called Manger et Cassez-vous. If you want more information, just leave a comment. It's in Paris. There's 2 locations. If you're there, definitely would recommend. With respect to the place, or the square rather, that I was referring to, the biggest one, all that controversy, it's the biggest pedestrian square. So there's 2 other squares in France that are bigger, one in Paris, one in Bordeaux, but they both have vehicle access, so that's the biggest one with pedestrian access. And that's all. So thanks for watching.